Is this a creepy story? Yes, it is. Is it a scary story? Well, that is up to you. I don't know how long I've been awake. Something's under the tower. It's been circling for hours. It's not an animal. It knows I'm up here. And it wants me to leave. A sharp burst of radio static. A voice, distorted and low, crackles through. Still watching. Comes over the radio. I huddled into a corner of the watchtower, breathing heavily. Eyes darting from window to hatch. It was hours till sunrise. Why did I not leave earlier? My name is John. I was flown into a ranger station just north of the Brooks Range, where they handed me off to a guy named Carter. He looked like he'd been out here for 30 years. Weathered skin, mirrored shades, chewing sunflower seeds like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. Didn't smile much. Didn't talk much either. Not until the road started getting narrow.
"You ever do isolation work before?" Carter asked while he gripped the wheel, keeping the Jeep on the narrow dirt road. "Not really. Closest I've come is 2 weeks solo camping in Colorado," I replied. 2 weeks ain't nothing. "You'll do 8 if the weather's good. 12 if it's not," Carter said while he glances over at him. The Jeep jostles over a pothole. "You know why they picked you?" "I figured because I passed the physical and said yes," I said with a light tone. "Yeah, that too." Silence lingers. Pines blur past the windows. Somewhere in the distance, a bird calls once, then nothing. Is it really that remote? Closest person is 74 miles. That's the float plane pilot who'll come get you in September, if the river's not iced up. Another silence. Carter spits a sunflower seed out the window. "I read the last guy left early." "Yeah," Carter said flat. "What happened?" Carter doesn't answer at first, just shifts in his seat. He reaches into the glove box, pulls out a dog-eared notebook, and tosses it into my lap. That's his logbook. Left it behind. I flip it open. The first few pages are normal. Weather notes, fire conditions, bear sightings. Then around week 3, entries get weirder. Paranoid, scrawled in messy handwriting. He's at the tree line again. He knows I see him. Something's whispering under the floorboards. What's this, some kind of joke? You think people make it long out here 'cause they're brave? They make it 'cause they respect what's out here. You see anything strange, you don't go looking. You don't leave the tower. You log it and you move on. They round a bend. The tower appears in the distance. Tall, skeletal, weather-beaten, but standing proud over the ocean of forest. There she is, Outpost 11. The Jeep slows, gravel crunches beneath the tires. The radio inside crackles for a moment, just static, then cuts out. What's with the radio? Sometimes, it picks things up, Carter said quietly. He turns off the ignition. The forest is dead silent now. You'll hear noises at night. Think it's animals? Could be. But if you hear something call your name, if you hear footsteps circling and there's no wind, don't open the hatch. Just keep the lights on and wait for sunrise. He climbs out of the Jeep, slams the door, walks to the back and starts unloading gear. I laughed it off at the time, figured it was local superstition. But the way he said it, like he'd seen something and just decided never to talk about it, it stuck with me. Carter never said goodbye, just handed me the radio, the keys, and drove away. That was the last voice I heard, for 17 days. I stood next to the tower and lost myself in thought. The breeze felt good, but as I turned, trees, trees, and trees. Just this one little clearing and the dirt road that leads up to it. Hopefully the view will be more substantial from the top. The stairs groaned the whole way up. 63 steps. Not that I was counting. By the time I reached the top, I was soaked in sweat and mosquito bites. But when I opened the door, I gotta admit, it didn't seem that bad. Glancing around basically this single room, a metal desk, scratched and dented, facing a pair of binoculars and a dusty fire map. A narrow cot with a wool blanket folded tight. A compact kitchenette, single burner stove, small sink. One cabinet above, stocked with canned goods. A door to a closet-sized bathroom, just a compost toilet, and a tiny mirror. And in the corner, a shortwave radio, bulky and ancient, with a worn clipboard hanging beside it. On the clipboard, Signation Log, Outpost 11. Everything was old, but solid. Government issued, probably from the 70s. The radio looked like it belonged in a Cold War bunker. But when I flicked the dial, it purred to life. Radio crackles, faint static, then occasional squawks of distant frequencies. No voices, just a background hum of the world. I was told to log any transmissions, even weird ones, foreign chatter, rescue beacons, rogue broadcasts. But that night, nothing but silence, and the occasional echo of some pilot crossing into Russia. By nightfall, I had a rhythm, logged the weather, ate my dinner, a lovely can of chili, watched the ridgelines, and then just listened. There was something about being up that high, above everything. The trees, the noise, the world. It felt clean, like I'd stepped outside of time. That first night, I slept with the windows open. Didn't think twice about it. Just fresh air and stars. No headlights, no sirens, no people. I remember thinking, this won't be so bad. A nearly full moon hangs over the Alaskan wilderness, casting pale silver light across the endless treetops. The wind is low, crickets hum. The tower glows gently from within, amber light flickering behind the windows. 1 week in, and I had it all figured out. Wake up at 6, scan for smoke, log the skies, read, eat, repeat. It was starting to feel like routine, even peaceful. He's sitting on the catwalk on the outside of the tower, gazing at the moon while eating his dinner. He takes a bite, watches his breath fog briefly in the cold night air. The nights were cooler now. Still, like the world held its breath after dark. He glances up. The stars are unbelievably clear. The Milky Way cuts a sharp streak across the sky. A calm moment. Until a faint sound, far off, almost like an animal, but not. He pauses mid-bite, head turns slightly. He listens. He's strained to hear it. It was really distant, deep, guttural howling he swears he heard. I thought it was an owl at first, or maybe a fox. They can scream, kind of eerie-like. But this was off, too hollow, too stretched. Silence again, a breeze passes. The forest seems darker now. John waits, then shakes it off. He continues eating. 10 minutes later, another sound. Louder, closer, more deep, howling. It just didn't sound right. It echoes strangely. The cadence is all wrong, almost like it's trying to mimic a howl, but doesn't quite know how. John stands upright, spoon frozen in hand. The second one. That made my chest tighten. He steps to the edge of the catwalk, leans over the railing slightly, scans the treetops. Nothing moves. Coyote, maybe? He said aloud to himself. I wanted it to be a coyote, or a loon, or some weird echo bouncing off the rocks. But it didn't sound right. It didn't feel right. The radio inside lets out a tiny crackle like it's waking up. Just static. Then silence again. He steps back inside, grabs the flashlight, and shines it out into the woods. A lazy sweep, more to calm himself than anything. Nothing. Just stillness, trees, darkness. It kept going. Every 15, 20 minutes, like it was circling, but too far to see. I didn't log it, didn't mention it in my notes. Didn't want to start writing things down I couldn't explain. He finishes the soup, now lukewarm, climbs back inside. In the distance, barely audible now, the sound again, fainter, like it's laughing. I didn't sleep much after the night before. Even told myself it was a weird bird. But something about the rhythm, the space between the calls. It felt like a pattern. It felt like behavior. The lantern on John's desk casts a warm, flickering glow. A mug of coffee steams next to his field notebook. He paces slowly, restless. He keeps glancing toward the window. Later that night, John steps out onto the catwalk again. He's bundled up, flashlight clipped to his chest. He sips his coffee, then stops, listens. Nothing. He chuckles under his breath to feel better. What did I expect? Then it comes again. Closer. Clearer. John flinches. He stares out into the black wall of trees. Whatever it is, it's not far. Not anymore. Okay, not a fox, he says to himself. He checks his watch. 11:14 p.m. He clicks a pen, scribbles something in the signal log, hesitates, then scratches it out. I kept telling myself to write it down, but the second I lifted my pen, it was like I'd be inviting it in. Naming it gave it shape. 15 minutes pass. John sits on the edge of the cot, chewing the inside of his cheek. Then, another sound, even closer, now almost underneath the tower. It trails off in a wet, choking breath. It's wrong. It sounds almost human, like it's trying to imitate a person howling, but failing, badly. John rushes to the window, shining the flashlight down. The beam sweeps across the gravel path. Nothing. But the sounds don't echo now. They radiate from a point nearby, like someone standing just inside the tree line, calling up at him. 2:08 a.m. John is back on the catwalk, his coffee cold. He looks pale, tired. He hasn't moved in a while, just listening, waiting. The wind has died. Then the radio inside crackles. A burst of static, sharp and loud. John snaps upright. "Hello?" he said confusedly for a second. He bolts inside, stumbling over the threshold, grabs the mic. Listens. More static. A brief burst of unintelligible noise, too garbled to make out, like someone trying to speak underwater. Then, a single word punches through, mechanical and distorted, but unmistakable.
Watching.
John freezes. His breathing stops. His hand slowly lowers the mic. It wasn't a ranger. It wasn't an accident. It was like it waited until I came back inside to make sure I heard it. Distantly, outside the tower, the sound comes again, the strange hoot howl. But now it overlaps with another voice. A second one. Then, a third. It's no longer calling out. It's communicating. He couldn't sleep. How could he? He felt semi-safe being so high up in the air with the retractable stairs currently pulled up, so no way to easily climb up to him. When the sun started to just peek over the mountains, he finally collapsed in bed. Darkness again. A faint moon peeks through clouds, casting long, silver shadows across the trees. The tower stands alone, a sentinel over a forest that has gone deathly still. John is at the desk, hunched over a notebook. His hands are shaking slightly as he reviews his log. The page is mostly blank. By the 10th night, I'd stopped trying to explain it, stopped logging, stopped pretending the sounds were anything I could categorize. He glances at the clock, 11:14 p.m. He gets up slowly, flashlight in hand, and steps out onto the catwalk. The wind is dead. No insects tonight. Just silence. John exhales into the cold air. Then, there it is again. From the south this time. He stiffens. Then, a second call answers from the west. It sounds almost identical, like a mirror. Then a third, farther out, higher pitched, mocking, playful. John's breath catches. He spins slowly in a circle trying to see them. The flashlight flicks left and right across the trees. Nothing. Just sound, but it surrounds him now. 3 of them, calling. Not in unison, in sequence. But they were coordinating, like they were searching, like they were closing in. He backs toward the door, fear starting to grip him, but keeps the light scanning. The sounds continue, every 15-20 minutes rotating positions. 2:27 a.m., John sits inside, flashlight aimed at the trap door. A small hatchet sits next to him on the floor. The radio is silent. He stares at it like he knows it's going to speak again. Then, a sudden burst of static, loud and sharp. John jumps. The radio hums louder than before. Then under the fuzz, words. The voice is warped and slow, like a tape being dragged across a knife's edge. Male or female, impossible to tell.
Better leave.
The radio cuts dead. The room goes silent. John doesn't move. Not for a long time. I hadn't spoken into the radio since the second night. No one should have known I was still here. But somehow, something did. Then, one final sound. Not from the woods this time. From the base of the tower. A sharp thud, like something heavy hitting a strut at the bottom of the tower. After a few breath-held seconds, the sounds cease. Then a few more, and the usual crickets and sound of the forest return. It's late morning. The camera moves slowly across the interior of the tower. Sunlight streams in through the windows. A coffee mug sits untouched on the desk. The radio crackles softly. No voices. John sits in front of it, hunched forward. The clipboard with the signal log is blank for the first time since he arrived. His hand is hovering over the mic. I spent the entire morning trying to shake it off. Told myself it was wind, echoes, my own nerves. Told myself the radio glitch was just interference. That the stairs were up. There's no way anyone could reach me. But by noon, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to talk to someone. This is Outpost 11 to base camp. Do you copy? This is Watch Officer John Redley at Outpost 11. I'm requesting a check-in. Over.
He lets go. Static. Waits. Nothing. Base camp. Do you read? Come in. Still. Nothing. He flips to the emergency frequency. Static. Then tries another. Outpost 10, this is 11. Do you read? Anyone at 10? Come in. Pause. Then again. Quieter now. Outpost 12, this is 11. Anyone hearing this? Still. Nothing. Just low-band hiss. Birds chirp faintly outside. Nothing. No clicks. No acknowledgements. No distant voices. Just open air. John stares at the dials. Checks power. Antenna. All working. He tries again. And again. Then again. For hours. The sun drops behind the trees. Long shadows stretch across the forest. John's silhouette is backlit in the tower window. He hasn't left the radio all day. His face is pale, anxious, jaw clenched tight. I was supposed to be one of 3 towers covering this stretch of interior. We were never more than a half-day hike apart. I should have been able to reach them, even if base camp was dark. At least one of them should have answered. He checks the stairs mechanism. Still raised. Still locked. There's no way up unless someone drops the staircase from inside. No ladders. No ropes. Which meant whatever hit the beams last night was either throwing something heavy. The tower is dark, except for the weak desk lamp. John sits with his back to the trap door. One hand rests on the hatchet again. He's listening, breathing shallow. Then, that familiar sound. From the east. Another from the south, loud, forceful. Then a third, much closer, from directly beneath. John flinches. The radio crackles, only static. No words this time, just noise. Then, bang! A heavy impact against one of the tower's support beams. The whole structure trembles. John stands slowly, staring at the floor. There it was again, just like the night before. Something testing the legs, feeling out the weak spots. Bang! Another hit. Lower pitch, closer to the center. The tower shudders again. John barely whispers to himself, "You can't get up here. You can't get up here." He turns off the lantern, moves to the corner furthest from the trapdoor, sits with his back to the wall, watching, listening. They weren't hunting anymore. They were waiting, performing, and I had a front row seat. A final call rises from the woods. This one overlaps 3 distinct voices, disjointed, echoing,
intentional.
Watching.
Then, silence. The tower sways slightly in the wind. The metal groans. But nothing else comes. John sits on the cot, boots still on, back to the wall, staring at the darkened trapdoor. I told myself they couldn't get up, that as long as the stairs stayed up, the tower would hold. But I knew I couldn't stay here much longer. I needed answers. I needed someone, anyone, so I came up with a plan. He picks up a notepad, scribbles down rough coordinates, checks the firewatch map tacked to the wall.
At first light, I'd try the radio again. If base camp was still dark, I'd go for outpost 12. I could see it with binoculars, just barely, sitting on that distant ridge, maybe 5-6 miles. Supposed to be a half-day's hike. Long shot, but better than 2 days to base camp. And whatever's out there, I wasn't going to be on the ground after sunset. No chance. He lies back slowly, staring at the ceiling. The tower creaks. Distant hoots echo far away. He closes his eyes. I told myself I'd only need a few hours of sleep. Just enough to move fast. First light. The radio was a bust again. No reply from base, station 10 or 12. John packs quickly. Food, water, map, hatchet, flashlight, notebook. He lowers the retractable stairs with cautious eyes, scans the tree line. Nothing. The trail is faint, overgrown in places. John's machete slices through thick brush. He ties scraps of fabric to branches every few hundred feet. The trail wasn't in great shape. Overgrown, narrow. A few sections were flat out gone. I marked my path like breadcrumbs. Didn't want to get stuck out here overnight without a way back. Sweat glistens on his neck, breathing hard. Light cuts through the trees above. He stops every so often to scan the ridge ahead with binoculars. By noon, I could see it. Just a sliver of metal through the trees. Outpost 12. John emerges into a small clearing. Tower 12 stands ahead, maybe 40 feet tall, sun glinting off its structure. The stairs are down. John rushes forward, nearly stumbles. Relief floods his face. He cups his hands and shouts. "Hello, Ranger. This is Outpost 11. John Redley. I need to talk to someone." No reply. Just wind moving through the trees. He tries again. "Anyone up there?" Silence. The stairs were down, but no one answered. He climbs quickly, reaches the trap door. It's unlocked. He opens it slowly. The room is stale, dusty, cold, undisturbed. Identical layout, same desk, same radio, same clipboard, same cot. John walks inside, quietly now. The logbook was still there. The last entry, 4 months ago. He scans the entries. Weather logs, animal sightings, normal things, until the last few weeks. The handwriting changed. The tone started to spiral. He reads silently. Heard something circling at night. It calls out in triplicate. No response from 10 or base. Radio said, "Gone, gone, gone." The final entry is smeared. One word underlined 3 times. Alone. John sits on the edge of the cot. Breathes. Looks out the window. The sun is low now. I couldn't make it back before nightfall. I didn't want to try. He pulls the stairs up and bolts the trap door. Turns off the light. The room falls into shadow. It's dark. John sits by the window, flashlight in hand, eyes scanning the woods below. All is quiet.
until a single call rises from the north. Deep, hollow. Only one this time. Just one voice. But that made it worse. The tower creaks faintly. Then, the radio crackles. John spins, stares at it. His hand hovers. He doesn't touch it. The static grows. Louder, then softens, and a voice comes through. Garbled, slow, familiar in tone, but not right.
Gone, no help, alone.
Static returns, then silence. John doesn't move, just stares at the radio, then slowly, quietly, clicks it off. It wasn't warning me anymore. It was telling me the truth. The single call outside continues. Every 15 minutes, same tone, same rhythm, same direction. John sits down against the wall, his hatchet beside him, eyes wide. He doesn't sleep. John walks with his pack, machete in hand, scanning left and right as he moves. I left Outpost 12 just after sunrise. Didn't waste time. No breakfast, no coffee. I wanted to be back in my tower before dark, before the woods started talking again. John follows scraps of cloth tied to branches. He moves quickly, but precisely, reaches for water, then stops. His brow furrows. He's looking at a tied strip of red cloth. He leans in close. Something's wrong. I had a system. Double knot, left over right. But this one was different. Clean, deliberate. Not my knot. Not mine. He drops to his knees, inspects the ground around the base of the tree, wipes at the pine needles, searching for prints. Nothing. No footprints. No drag marks. Just forest floor, untouched. Someone, or something, wanted me off that trail. John takes a deep breath, then another. His grip tightens on the machete. Don't panic. If you panic, you're lost. For real. He turns back, retraces his steps. Every so often, glancing at the surrounding trees. Another cloth, then another. But the path feels wrong again. Finally, after an hour of careful backtracking, he finds a tree. Its bark gashed by his machete in a very specific way. He breathes a sigh of relief and bolts in the right direction, following the true trail now. The sun is low by the time he reaches a familiar rise, and then he sees it, Outpost 11.
John hauls himself up the tower stairs, pulls the first landing up, breathing heavy. His clothes are damp with sweat. He slams the door shut and locks it, checks the windows, the trap door. I made it, just barely, but I couldn't shake the feeling. Something had walked with me the whole way back. Just out of view. The sun disappears behind the tree line. A cold wind blows. The sky darkens to indigo. The tower in total darkness. A light fog rolls in around the base. The forest is unusually quiet until... Another voice joins, then another, dozens, all from different directions, all unnatural, not animals, not human. John grips his flashlight, moving to the window. He peeks out into the darkness, and then the woods came alive. One by one, flickers of orange burst to life through the trees. Small bonfires placed deliberately, precisely, dozens of them, in rings, in lines, encircling the tower. No, 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 John stammers. In front of each fire stands something. Twisted silhouettes made of branches lashed together, rough human shapes. Not just standing, posed. Arms stretched unnaturally wide, legs pulled apart, like puppets in mid-scream.
They were effigies. Effigies of me, of what they were going to do to me. The fires crackle louder. Something inhuman lets out a high-pitched whoop, then another, and another. It's all around. The radio lets out a single chirp. John snaps to it, but it stays silent. Not a word, just a single, deliberate squawk, like a cough before speaking. But nothing follows. John backs away from the window. He pulls a chair in front of the door, holds his flashlight like a weapon. The tower groans. This wasn't just noise anymore. This was ritual, a message. They were showing me what came next. He sits unmoving, bathed in flashlight glow. His breathing is the only sound. The fires burn all night, and the effigies do not fall. The light is cold and gray. Mist clings low to the forest floor. John descends the retractable stairs cautiously, boots hitting the damp ground. He clutches his machete tight as he circles the base of the tower. When the sun came up, I told myself I had to look. I had to. There were fires. Dozens. There were effigies. Voices. There had to be something. A footprint, a burn mark, a broken branch. He moves in a wide perimeter around the tower, inspecting the ground. Nothing. The pine needles are undisturbed. Not a single scorch mark. The trees are pristine, unburnt, unbothered. He ventures further. Nothing. Just trees. The same indifferent forest. But there was nothing. No ash. No soot. No signs of fire. Not even a smell. Like it never happened. He stops and stares at the ground, drops to his knees, dragging his fingers through the soil. Fresh, cold, unmarked. There were voices, screams, things. I saw them. I heard them. Didn't I? John sprints back to the tower, panicked now. He hauls the stairs up with shaking hands and locks the hatch behind him. John hunches over the shortwave radio. His voice cracks as he sends the same call again and again. Base camp, this is Outpost 11. Please respond. Anyone. Outpost 12. Outpost 10. This is John Barnes at 11. I need to speak with someone, please. Only static replies. A soft, eerie crackle. No human voice. The tower was silent. The air was too still. Even the damn birds were gone. The clipboard next to the radio still holds his logs. Pages filling with desperate, chaotic notes. At the bottom of the most recent entry, he's scribbled, "Not alone. Not safe." Night has fallen. Slowly, one by one, orange glows emerge in the distance. Voices begin again. More of them now. More confident. Less playful. More hungry. John watches from the window, trembling. They were back. Every sound. Every flame. Exactly the same. But he doesn't go outside. He doesn't respond. He just watches. Sitting in a chair, machete across his lap. Radio turned up to full volume. The effigies sway in the firelight. One of them has antlers this time. Long, gnarled. A crown? A warning? The radio crackles. One short burst again. Then silence.
I didn't sleep. I just waited. And they watched me wait.
The fires burn through the night. The voices chant. The tower stands, alone in the forest, under a starless sky. Pale gold sunlight filters through the tower windows. John sits at the desk, head in his hands. A near-empty water jug rests beside him. The radio is silent. The forest is still. I didn't leave the tower. Not today. I couldn't. I slept in pieces, broken little bits of rest. I only trusted the sun now, only closed my eyes when I saw light pouring through the window. He looks down at his feet, dirt streaked and blistered. The machete leans against the wall beside him. He glances out toward the woods again. They look normal. Too normal. Was this it? Was I wearing them down? Or were they just playing with me? I started thinking about base camp again. Just running, leaving everything. But I knew that was death. He pulls the stairs up again, the movement mechanical now. The hatch clangs shut and echoes in the empty air. The night falls soft. No wind, no voices, no firelight. The tower glows faintly under a full moon. John sits by the window, knees pulled up, watching, waiting. Every flicker of branch or distant owl makes him flinch slightly. But nothing follows. Nothing. The woods didn't speak tonight. No bonfires, no howling, not even static on the radio. He stays up until 2 a.m., flashlight off, just watching the trees. Still nothing. He slowly lowers himself to the bed, stares up at the ceiling. Is this over? John murmurs to himself. He pulls the thin blanket over him. Eyes close. He drifts off. The first time he's truly fallen asleep at night in days. The quiet almost felt like a gift, or a trick. The kind of silence you get before a bomb goes off. Still, it was nice. Too nice.
Morning light. Cold and blue. John moves robotically as he pulls on his boots. He lowers the stairs slowly, the creak of the metal echoing in the silence. He steps down, pauses. Something stops him cold mid-step. Massive, inhuman footprints in the soil. Deep, heavy, wide. Each at least twice the size of a human foot. Some with twisted claw marks at the ends. They're everywhere, a chaotic dance of footprints. They encircle the tower, cross over one another. Some lead away into the woods. Some stop beneath the tower, like whoever made them just stood there, watching. They were real. They were right there, all around me, all night. John slowly backs up the stairs, his face hollow, eyes wide in disbelief. He hauls the stairs up fast and slams the hatch closed, locking it with shaking hands. Night falls fast, too fast. They came back, all of them. And this time, they didn't want to scare me. They wanted me to break. Bonfires everywhere, effigies for each one again. The hooting, the howling, just a cacophony of noise. Suddenly, boom, the entire tower shakes. Another boom. John stumbles. The mug on the desk tips over and crashes to the floor. Another. The tower sways like it's in an earthquake. He drops to the ground, crawling to the radio. Static, but then voices begin. Unrelenting, whispering, chanting.
Come out. Time over. No more hiding. Join us. You see now. We see you. We see you. We see you. We see you. Still watching.
John slaps the radio off, unplugging it. The voices die instantly. But the tower still shakes. Something slams against the supports beneath, again and again. I huddled into a corner of the watchtower, breathing heavily, eyes darting from window to hatch. It was hours till sunrise. Why did I not leave earlier? I should have made a run for base camp. It was a chance. He curls up in the corner, in the fetal position. Tears stream silently down his face. The sounds grow louder. The effigies outside burn brighter. They didn't want the tower. They didn't want the radio. They wanted me. All night, they sang to me. They pounded at the bones of this place, and I just lay there, a child under the bed, praying the monsters leave. I don't know how long I laid there with my eyes scrunched shut. First light creeps over the mountain ridge. The second it hits the trees, everything stops. The shaking ceases, the fires vanish, the sounds die. Even the wind returns to normal. John blinks toward the sunrise, his face blank, pale, completely drained, like someone flipped a switch, like none of it ever happened. But it did. It did. The sun was up, and I was still here, but that didn't mean I was safe or sane. Hours pass in silence. Finally, John moves. He crawls, stands. His limbs shake under him. He stares at the hatch, then slowly opens it and lowers the stairs. Each clank of the steel steps is like a gunshot. He descends, but only partially. Sitting on the last stair, just above the ground, like a kid afraid of monsters under the bed. He doesn't touch the forest floor, just stares. The footprints are still there, clear, sharp, dozens of them, encircling the tower. Some leading off into the woods, others just ending. John is locked in a daze, until a distant sound hits his ears. He jerks upright, panic flashes. He bolts up 2 stairs before stopping mid-motion. His brain finally registers. Not a howl, not a voice, not footsteps. A jeep. He peers down the trail, and through the trees, dust rising, and he sees Carter, driving casually, calm, as if on schedule. The jeep rolls to a stop at the tower base. Carter leans out of the window. No smile, no wave, just quiet recognition. John slams the stairs down and bolts, full sprint into the passenger seat, slamming the door shut. Go. Go. Now. John stammers out. Carter doesn't ask why. He nods once, shifts the jeep into gear, and pulls away. The road bumps beneath them. Silence at first. The forest passes slowly. Carter drives steady, calm. Then the questions start, spilling out of John like floodwaters. Frantic, overlapping. What were those things? Why didn't the radio work? Except for them? Why didn't you tell me? Why would you leave someone out there? Why? What the hell were those? Why didn't anyone warn me? Carter stares ahead, lets it ride out, then speaks softly. We don't know what they are. No one does. But out here, no one lasts past day 17. John stares at him, disbelieving. When this area started to be monitored way back, rangers just went missing. All of them. Then some of them. Finally, back in the 60s, the military sent a full unit to investigate. Not one came back. So now, we just do what we can. We check the towers every 17 days, as we finally found that to be the pattern. Well, when the certainty that there would be someone to pick up, 1 more day, 2 tops. I bet I would have found an empty tower. The job was 3 months, John said quietly. No, the paperwork says 3 months. The job's 17 days. The rest of the time, that's just for recovery. The forest thins. Civilization creeps back in. Power lines, cracked asphalt. John stares out the window, distant, numb. People ask why we go out there. Maybe we're running from something. Maybe we want to prove we're stronger than the silence. But the forest doesn't care. It's older than us, meaner than us. It remembers every scream it ever swallowed. I was a fire lookout in Alaska, 17 days, and it will haunt me for the rest of my life. If you made it this far, thank you. Stories like this are meant to linger, like the crackle of a dead radio, or footprints in the frost that shouldn't be there.
If this tale chilled you, if it kept you watching, or made you glance over your shoulder just once, a like, a comment, or even a subscribe would mean the world. This is a brand new channel, and every bit of support helps us bring you more original horror, the kind that doesn't just scare, but sticks. So if you're into unsettling stories, eerie forests, or long, lonely nights with no way out, this is your place. Hit subscribe so you never miss the next dispatch from the dark. Until then, stay safe out there. And whatever you do, don't leave the tower after dark.